Hello, my darlings. This is Maria, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please subscribe to see more videos like this one. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the winter reset. There's a lot of talk in the spiritual community around the hibernation period, that we're supposed to go to sleep during winter and our bodies are supposed to flourish during the summer, that we're supposed to move with the different natural cycles, such as the cycles of the moon at least, and cycles of other planets. And so today I figured I would address one of the very common cyclical activities that we all do, which is the winter hibernation. Now, let me preface this video by saying that 70% of humanity as it stands today has not gone through any intentional or unintentional winter hibernation. We are wired as society to go on hyperspeeds regardless of the season. Now, we do slow down sometimes during the holidays, but that is not an intentional way of going through a hibernation period. We keep ourselves in our active states through all kinds of stimulants, whether that is coffee or other energy drinks or black tea. And what we have as a result is a somewhat dysfunctional society. Now, I will not tell you that going through a winter hibernation period is something that will solve all the world's problems, but I will tell you this. Going through the winter hibernation period could be a very intentional, very spiritual practice that will set you up for success. And here's the deal. I think one of the common misconceptions is that we are supposed to go through one hibernation period in the year, and that is usually in the winter. And that is when we're supposed to withdraw, and that is when we're supposed to be less active. Once you actually start digging deeper, and once you start connecting to Gaia, you understand that there is more to this hibernation concept that meets the eye. And in fact, there are 2 hibernation periods in the year, not just one. If you think about it, there are 2 hemispheres, the northern and the southern hemisphere, which each of them experience a winter period. And those winters are in the polar opposite months of the year, right? So essentially, planet Earth has 2 winters, not one. And as such, despite the fact whether we live in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, there is an innate and hidden need that we have to rest and reset and recalibrate during the winter time. Now, I love correspondences. I love studying correspondences. I love trying to understand correspondences. One of the Hermetic principles, the rules of this matrix, is as above, so below. Essentially, what this tells us is what we find to be true in larger objects is also true for smaller objects. And what is true for smaller objects can be found to the same degree in larger objects. Moreover, everything supports everything, and everything in the universe is interconnected. As beings who are born on the face of planet Gaia, we are incredibly linked with her consciousness, with her energies, with her cycles. So, one thing that pretty much nobody talks about is this. There is a correspondence to our own bodies. There is a correspondence between our own bodies and planet Gaia in a very simple format. So essentially, if you guys follow me enough, you know that I love to talk about the 2 energies that run within our bodies, the masculine and the feminine. Now, Gaia also has 2 polarities, the masculine and the feminine, like any other being in the universe. She is going through the same split, and eventually she's going to go through the same unification process as the rest of us. So Gaia has 2 polarities. She has her masculine polarity and she has her feminine polarity. Where the masculine polarity dwells within our planet is the North Pole. The North Pole is the center of masculinity of planet Earth. The South Pole is the center of femininity. Where does this bring us? This brings us to this concept. If the northern hemisphere is going through a winter period, what does this mean? That means that the North Pole polarity, or the masculine polarity of Gaia, is going through a reset, meaning the masculine is more dormant and the feminine is more active. Then you flip into the summer in the northern hemisphere and the winter in the southern hemisphere, and that is the winter in the southern hemisphere, because it is connected to the feminine, and that is where the feminine energies of Gaia dwell. When the winter hits the southern hemisphere, when the winter hits the feminine hub of Gaia, that is when your feminine as a human being is also supposed to go through hibernation. If you are just doing one hibernation period in the entire year, it is possible to reset both of your bodies. But let us just say that you're not going to be as in sync with the energies of planet Gaia as you could be. That means that you're not going to be able to recharge yourself and your body in the way that your body needs and requires. And that means that you're not going to be living up to the fullest potential, perhaps, because to live up to your fullest potential, you need every resource, every helper that you could possibly get in this life. And so that brings us to the winter in the northern hemisphere. Right now, the greater human collective is supposed to be going through the winter time of the masculine, the hibernation of the masculine. That is irrespective, by the way, of which hemisphere you dwell on. And in the summer, the reverse is true. In the summer period for northern hemisphere, the winter for the southern hemisphere, we're supposed to all collectively go through the hibernation period for our feminine, where the feminine is rested and reset and the masculine runs supreme. Now, we are in the month of February. You may be watching this later. It doesn't really matter. Up until the spring equinox, up until the 21st of March, you could still do the winter reset. So this essentially what happens in the winter time. And again, I'm going to be talking from the perspective of the northern hemisphere. That is where I live. That way we just get that complexity out of the way. We all are supposed to reset our inner masculine as well as the left hemisphere of our brain and the right side of our bodies, which is where our masculine energies flow. Now, I find that even the people that intentionally want to go into the hibernation period don't always know how to do it and what is the entire process. So today I kind of wanted to really quickly walk you through what it could look like. So first and foremost, the hibernation period can take 3, 6, or 9 days, depending on what you choose to make it. So essentially, before you embark upon a hibernation period or a winter reset, you have to decide whether that is a 3-day endeavor, 6-day endeavor, or a 9-day endeavor. 3, 6, 9 are alchemical numbers in numerology. So anytime we're going through any kind of transformation, 3, 6, 9 are great helpers. I will tell you 6 as a number of karma is probably the least opportune cycle time, because usually that hibernation is rooted in challenges. It could be a challenging, anytime you work with the energy of the 6, you're going to pass through trials and tribulations. So if I were to advise you as a friend, I would probably recommend a 3 or a 9-day winter reset. It all starts with an intention. So you have to decide what is going to be your day 1 and make an intention, make a commitment to yourself and the universe and Gaia that you are going through your winter reset or winter restage. So depending on how many days you pick, your hibernation period is either going to be extremely involved or it's going to be a little bit more relaxed, shall we say. Now, I know that it is highly unrealistic for everybody to just take off work and completely block out their calendars for the period of the hibernation. So that is completely okay if you're going to do that. Although for a 3-day hibernation period, especially if you book it over the weekend, I think it's possible probably for you guys to completely take off work. A 3-day hibernation period is fairly intense. Your body is going to be going through a lot of energy. So that is, you probably don't want to be working during that period of time if possible. For a 9-day hibernation, obviously things move a little bit slower. It's a little bit more of a build-up. And so it's totally okay to be working. However, you have to go easy on your body. Remember that we are resetting the masculine in the winter. If we're resetting the masculine, the pushing, the trying to achieve, the goals, the expectations, that is going to go, right? Because you essentially are going to have to bury your masculine for your masculine to be reborn again. And essentially, the only part of you that remains active during that period is your femininity. And your femininity, I hate to say this, does not love things like goals and overachieving and showing up and stepping up and being active. Like, that is not really the feminine way. And so just be prepared that you're not going to accomplish a lot during this time. And you may feel lazy. Or you may feel a little bit like out of it. It is because your masculine is resting, and that is why. Now, although I don't necessarily have, in the constraints of this video, I don't have the luxury to be able to walk you through every day of, let's say, the 9-day cycle. I want to give you broad brush strokes of what you need to do. Essentially, there are 2 periods, right? So like if we take 9 days, the first half of that period, or if you take 3 days, that's going to be the first half, is going to be a day and a half, literally, is the death process. And the next half, or the second half, is the rebirth process. And it is, both are crucial and critical to the process, right? And one is not more important than the other. So in the first part of the process, the first 4.5 days or 1.5 days, you're going to go through a burial ritual. Sounds a little bit morbid, but it is energy work. You're not burying an actual body, thankfully. Don't have to bury yourself. How great is that? So in a meditative state. And by the way, for the entire period of the 9 days or the 3 days, you have to commit to meditate in the morning. Because your body is going to be going through a lot, enough of you are going to be going and getting guidance from your team of spirit guides or insights during that period, right? So you want to stay open and like an open vessel, and you definitely want to make sure you allot at least 20 minutes every morning for the ritual or the meditation. So in the morning, what you would want to do, day 1, right? You need to essentially imagine that the masculine part of you is splitting up from your body. And then you want to imagine, and it's going to look like a body of light, a very tired body of light, but still. And you would want to imagine taking that energetic part of you and burying it deep into the soil, like Mother Gaia. Just bury it, 9 feet underground, and it's like a whole ritual of like letting go and allowing it to start decomposing. So you want to kind of jumpstart the process of decomposition, where your body is split up into molecules and atoms, and then those atoms kind of like are sinking into the ground, right? And so that is a very, very important part of the process. The body would take some time to decompose, the energy body. And then once that happens, energy is released, and energy is going to be released in a way that it can be remade again. Once you get to the middle point of your hibernation or your winter reset, you need to start thinking about what is next. Usually you reset once a year, so you're thinking, okay, what kind of masculine support do I need from myself in the next 12 months? And usually as human beings, we don't have as much foresight as our spirit guides do, our higher self does. I will tell you, when I was going through this experience, I was blown away by how much my body knew about what's to come in the next 12 months for me, as opposed to what my human knew. Our bodies are incredibly wise. Our bodies know our path in some ways more than we do as third dimensional human beings. And so allow yourself to build a new body. That happens about midway. But you want to start rebuilding it, like kind of building tissues, building cells back, building organs and organ systems back. And the way you would rebuild it is you would imagine that you have a thread of golden light, and you would literally watch it like recreate a human body, almost like a 3D printer, like prints like little layers. You can imagine it like that. The most important part, though, is to ask the universe to give you the exact kind of male body or masculine body that you need in order to do everything that you're meant to do in the next 12 months. And here's the kicker. Most human beings that have never done a hibernation exercise in their life don't really understand that their masculine bodies, not only are they depleted, they're not being reset in the correct way. And so whatever is going to happen to you in 23 is not what happened to you in 24. And yet you're using the same exact body, the same exact vessel. In fact, enough of you would be using the same exact vessel, masculine vessel, that you used when you were 5, 6, 7 years old. Arguably, you're a very different being with very different level of aspirations and dreams and goals. And so that is why it is important to bury parts of you so that you can resurrect and rebuild them based on who you are today. Unfortunately, with energy bodies, parts of them never die out unless you are very proactive about it. You're very intentional about it. In some ways, energy bodies are really, really good at holding on to all of these baggage from the past. And so we need to be extremely mindful and intentional about just letting that go. Alrighty, and so then you rebuild yourself and you infuse your masculine body with the energies. First, it can be an intentional infusion. Imagine just dropping certain qualities into that body that you think you may need, such as stamina, courage, good public speaking abilities, anything that is a masculine type of quality, or like shrewd intellect, the ability to be strategic, like all of those things are masculine qualities. Feel free to drop them into the new body that you create as if they were seeds and just watch them blossom and bloom. And so essentially, especially if you're taking the 9 days, take the time to rebuild your body. As you're going through your morning meditations, infuse even more things into those bodies and watch the before and after. The before and after is going to be so dramatic, it's going to blow your mind. The masculine that you had in 2022 and the masculine that is going to be birthed for you for this year, those are going to be entirely different masculines. They may even be different height, depending on what you're up to and what you're going through and what you're going to need. So that's that. Journaling is extremely, extremely important because, that is the meditative part that I just told you about. But journaling, allowing yourself to be in the pause, allowing yourself to be okay with the process of resetting instead of go, go, go every time. Things are going to come up for you. So I recommend you do journaling every day. Just, do a quick, just jot down how you feel. And anything that feels off or quite on the contrary feels good, write down your thoughts, write down everything about this experience because you may be getting insights. Another thing is, this is the time for you to nurture and replenish your masculine in every way that you can. And so take up a piece of paper and write down a question or a statement. This is how my masculine likes to be replenished. This is a statement. And then answer, just kind of allow your hand to write the answer. What is the way that your masculine aspect, the masculine side of you wants to be replenished? What are the activities that you can do? Or perhaps the foods that you can eat, the music that you can listen to, or perhaps it could actually even be a person, somebody that like a friend or a significant other or a loved one could be the person who really helps replenish your masculine. And so allow the answers to come to you in the flow and then notice what comes through and allow yourself to do that in which, that which your masculine really wants. Another important part about this whole conundrum is as your masculine is going through a death and rebirth, what's going to come front and forward is your femininity, right? So the one part of you that is all of a sudden front and center is the feminine. I will tell you, our feminine aspects, even in women, are somewhat suppressed on this planet because this is a planet of intellect. I'm never going to be tired of repeating that. And so another exercise that may be very, very important to you is ask yourself in a journal format, what does my feminine side need me to know? Because think about it, as your masculine is going through a death and rebirth, your feminine wants to finally be heard. Your feminine wants to finally be center stage. She has a message for you. And because you are going through a pause and a slowdown of everything, this is the time for you to also nurture your feminine and hear her. Because some of the most insightful things about how to live your life are going to come through by the virtue of you just talking to your feminine in this way. Alrighty, my darlings. Well, this is really the process of death and rebirth. I will tell you that once you complete your 9-day cycle or 3-day cycle, you're going to feel different. You're going to feel completely rebuilt, and it's almost like there are no more things holding you back. Like the debt, the energetic debt is gone. and you're going to feel completely renewed. Please let me know in the comments if you have already gone through a hibernation period, or in general, I'm very curious how winter impacts your energy. Do you guys feel active and, do you feel creativity for yourself in the winter time? Or does your body naturally withdraw? And also, if you have any other thoughts or any other rituals that you do, when your body is in hibernation mode, please let me know. I'm super curious. On that note, thank you so much for joining me today. Sending you a big virtual hug. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.